Welcome to KDrama Divas, a podcast and community for passionate fans of Korean dramas. Join us as we explore the captivating world of K-dramas, discussing the latest releases, timeless classics, and everything in between. Whether you're a seasoned K-drama addict or just stepping into this addictive realm, get ready to laugh, cry, and fangirl with the KDrama Divas. You're listening to the KDrama Divas podcast. My name is Amanda, and I'm here with my beautiful co-hosts.
I'm Serina.
I'm Maureen.
We're the KDrama Divas. Today, we're going to be discussing Captivating the King.
Part two, right?
I want to say part two, but we're covering way more than in part one.
Right.
But I finally finished, so we're just going to talk about the rest of it. Before we do that, I want to say thank you to our new Facebook followers, whoever you are. We have a couple new people, but Facebook doesn't tell us, so you should tell us.
Yeah.
Drop us a comment or send us a message. You can also email us at 3, kdramadivas@gmail.com.
We would love to start getting some fan mail. We want to know who you are. We want to interact.
Anti-fan mail.
You can send those to Maureen.
No, she asked for it.
We just want to hear from you. That's all.
We do.
I think we scared Batavia away.
I know. Oh,
Maybe not.
Has she not been listening? Or he? Could be.
He or she listened to our Batavia questions.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Maybe we came on a little strong, Batavia.
We're sorry if we did.
We're sorry.
We're just interested. We just want to know. We want to know who you guys all are and kind of interact and kind of become a little family club. I don't know.
Whatever we are.
Whatever we are. And what do you want us to be?
Tell us. All right. Enough of that. Captivating the King.
All right.
I loved it.
I loved it too.
I loved it.
Oh, we all
Wow.
But I left, I think, we just recorded part one, but a week's gone by because I was away.
It's been 2 weeks, hasn't it?
2 weeks?
It's been 2 weeks.
Okay.
That's why it seems like forever.
Yeah, it does. We were in Arizona for a little bit, but anyway, we left off, I think, on episode 6, and I think I was halfway through episode 6. And I just tried to make these little notes as I was watching it, almost like you guys were in the room. I was pretending. So I would freak out over something, and I would make like these talk memos into my phone, and oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. So today,
because then we kind of get the live reaction, even though it's been a couple weeks since you watched it, right?
You do. So today, I'll just follow along on my note.
Okay.
And you guys tell me what you think.
We'll follow your lead.
Okay. I feel so silly. Okay. Episode 6, the part that I didn't watch before we did our podcast. So Mong Wu, we're just going to call her Mong Wu, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Which means a light rain out of nowhere, right? Something like that?
Something like that, yes. It does have to do with rain.
Right.
Whenever it rains here, we should be like, Mong Wu.
Oh, we should.
Oh, no. Yes. And in the Pacific Northwest, it rains
a lot. But why is it 97 degrees and it's, we won't have rain for a few days at least.
Yeah. And then we can say Mong Wu.
Yeah. Now we have to remember that. But put it on your calendar. But
so at the end of episode 6, Mong Wu is talking to her old friend, the Kim Mong Wu, I think. And he was the one who always pursued her.
Right.
And she was not interested. So.
And knew what she was up to.
Yes. He knows all about it.
He knows that she's a she.
He knows she's a she. Yeah. She's a girl. Anyway. So at the end of episode 6, he finds her and says, what are you doing here? You're dressed as a man. You're not a man. You're going to get in trouble. but he's just so still in love with her, clearly.
Right.
And he embraces her.
Oh, yes.
King says, hello.
MG. I was freaking out.
Right.
That's
right.
why it's in here. I was like, scandalous.
Yeah, Nolan.
The king's thinking, what are they doing at Hollywood, you guys? But yet the king's like, he's my wife. He's my mother. No one touches my mom. But he's also thinking, what are you doing?
Right.
So I was freaking out.
And scandalous. It was scandalous. Especially in the Josian, is that how you say it? In that those era ones.
So then I was so scared in episode 7, but basically the king just like lets it slide
Right.
and kind of blames Kim Mong Ha. Well, it is his fault.
Well, it is because she hugged him back.
He's the one that embraced her,
Right.
but he's just kind of like, don't do it again.
Yeah. Right. And then
It was pretty funny. And I mean, sometimes I didn't make a lot of notes, but episode 7, I was kind of torn. I was like, the king, I really like the king, and I thought he's good. But then you see this dark side of him, and I was like, is he good? Is he bad?
yeah.
Do you remember that conflict in your hearts and
Yes.
minds over the king?
Absolutely. Right. Yes. Because he seems so, I don't know. I don't want to say pure-hearted, but he seemed like even from the get-go, before he became the king, everything was for the country and everything was for his brother and everything was, but then he says things or does things along the way that kind of makes you think, well, did he change? Was he not really that? But
the facial hair also.
and change things.
Don't you think?
But he really changed. He
I mean,
totally looks different.
Okay, but what do you mean by that?
I mean that it's like his personality changed with the facial hair.
And the facial hair came because when he became the king, right? For those 3 years that she was gone.
But it does make him look more manly.
Right.
Yeah,
More kingly.
More kingly.
More kingly, yes.
And I think more manly.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I think it makes him look maybe older. That's maybe why you're saying manly.
Oh,
Because he doesn't
maybe.
have that little baby kind of face, right?
It's covered.
Right. Right.
But I feel like you're sad about the facial hair, Mom.
No, I was. I really
Yeah,
was.
just
Thinking that maybe he could appear gruffer or something. I don't know.
Well, he does.
With it.
I think I agree.
Gruffer facial hair wise or
just-
personality
His
wise?
personality seems gruffer and his face looks gruffer.
Okay.
It's hard to describe, but
Okay. But yeah, it was hard to, because you think you know who he is and his motives. And then there's these one-off incidences that really make you question. And her, I mean, Mong Wu, I mean, she obviously was having the same questions through the same, you know,
Yeah.
so we weren't the only ones.
Well, episode 7, to me, it solidified. I was like, he's really good. Like, he has to be for me because, and maybe, yeah, 7 and then 8. But for 7, he says something, and I don't remember who the king says it to, but he says that he's going to protect his friend no matter what this time, even if his friend or Mong Wu is planning treason. He's going to protect him.
Right.
And that's huge. Like,
Right.
that's to his guard.
yes, that is big.
That is big.
I mean, that is big.
But that's how much I want to say how much he loved her, even though he didn't know she was a she, but how much
Yeah.
I mean, he was full in, this is whether it's my best friend or whatever the situation was.
Yes.
There was a huge connection there that he was not willing to break for anything at that point.
And you knew he had to have regretted it and what happened in the
Right.
past.
Right.
Yes.
And it makes you, and I still don't know, and maybe you guys got it, but I still don't understand why he did what he did back in whatever episode that was when he sent her away and had her.
We still don't understand it.
Well, I mean, I think that honestly, I don't think he had planned for it to go as far as it did. He had to look like a king, right? He
Right.
had to be tough and strong and he's probably a little confused because there's this treason rumor
Right.
and I don't know. And so I think he's just trying to be all tough and firm and saying, you're all going to be slaves and whatever.
Right.
But I don't think he knew what would happen because if you remember in a flashback when he finds out that Mong Wu's been probably killed,
Okay.
he's devastated.
Right.
And so I don't know what his end goal though was.
Yeah, that's why
You're
I don't
right.
understand why he did it. I mean, other than a lot of the story wouldn't have been there had he not have, because then she wouldn't have something to revenge him about.
Oh,
right?
that's
You
true.
know? So,
Right.
I mean, I understand why the story went that way, but to me, it just didn't 100% make sense.
You're right. And it doesn't. Maybe
So-
something got lost in translation.
Right. Right.
I mean, because I don't know. I don't know.
But even back then, he had such affection for her.
I know.
So how he could turn her back
Right.
on that and do that it's still,
It bothers me.
yeah,
Because it is opposite of his personality.
100%.
But so is a lot of the things at first, right?
Right. But then you learn that he was only saying and doing things in front of certain people to make them. I mean, it was almost he was manipulating them, right?
He was-
making them think something that wasn't true because he knew what his end game was.
Yeah.
And he had to make sure things were going how he wanted them to go. So he had to do and say those things to make them keep doing what they're doing so he could do what he needed to do ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was playing Go. He was playing
He
Go with
was.
people.
You're
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
They didn't know he was playing.
Yeah. Which surprised me too. You would think because as that was such a big part of his life and that he loved it so much, you would think that they would know that to him, that was life. It wasn't just a game.
Very intuitive of you.
Even a blind squirrel gets a note once in a while, right?
That's funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, let me see. I'm just looking for the highlights. So many spoilers. If you haven't watched
Right.
Captivating the King, don't listen to this. But, so episode 8. So let's
Oh
talk
my
about that a little
God.
bit.
What happened
I
today?
love.
Me too. So it's really funny because it's like we kind of saw this coming, but there starts to be rumors. And maybe you guys remember, it's so sad. 2 weeks pass and I'm like forgetting the whole drama. Just that I just know that I loved it. But
You
there's,
sound like me now.
I know. There's rumors that the king likes Matt,
Right?
and he's just like, whatever. I don't care. They're rumors, and I'm the king. But it's like going with this.
Well, they set him up with that one woman.
Oh, so it's just but the whole being attracted to men is so funny because Mong Wu is being judged all over, and of course she's like, I'm a girl in her head, like it's ridiculous, but she doesn't want rumors about her relationship. But what I like about all of it is the king and Mong Wu make a bet. Do you recall that?
No.
Because the king says, I don't care about the rumors. If I hear the rumors, I would laugh about them. I would laugh right in the people's face because they don't affect me. And so they have this bet that he'll do that. But then they can't find anyone that's talking about them.
Oh, yes. They went down into the
And they hang out. And
and they have such a fun day together and
Yeah.
they're doing all that.
Yeah.
Yes.
then kind of
Yes.
at the end of the day, the king says, if you were a woman, I would have most certainly married you.
Right.
And they have this moment, but then it kind of freaks the king out. Like, why did I just say this to this guy?
Right.
And so then he's worried. He tells his guard, stand there for a minute, and he hugs the guard. And then he's like, oh, okay. It's what I thought. I'm okay. It was back when I just thought it was so hilarious. And then my favorite is at the end of episode 8.
Oh. Favorite of the whole drama?
Probably.
Oh, what happens at the end of 8?
She was resting, I remember. And he...
On the tree?
No.
Yeah.
No.
On the tree. What? He can't find her because she got drunk and passed out by the tree. And then he has her moved, strangely enough, to her old house.
Right.
That's been abandoned.
Right.
Okay, well, she's lying down,
Yes.
and he goes to remove her clothes.
Yes.
In a platonic sense.
Yeah. Yeah, say what?
I think it's a guy.
Yeah.
She's just like, I'm going to take off your shirt, let him sleep.
Yeah.
Right,
No big
comfortably.
deal. Right.
And all of a sudden, she comes to and she says,
She's freaking out.
yeah, she's freaking out.
She says, no, you can't do that. And she's like covering herself. And I didn't think like, because I've seen a lot of dramas where it's like really a woman in disguise. There's a few out there. But I honestly didn't think he'd find out that she was a woman so soon. Because this is episode 8. And
Right.
like, there's a lot
Halfway
left.
through.
And he is smart. And so he's like, there's no way. You've got to be kidding me. And he knew. He was like, are you really a woman?
He peels back the clothing, the underclothing.
And he
And
sees
you
that
see
she's
him.
wrapped.
Right.
And
Yes. It's scandalous.
so scandalous. But anyway, so, and he's so upset. And you think, uh-oh, what's going to happen?
Right.
Well, he starts kissing her.
Yeah,
Well,
because she actually kissed him first, though.
Did she?
Yes.
Oh, wait, really?
Yes, she did.
Well, I don't remember.
Because I think,
It was like her last wish.
yes.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
It was her
Yeah,
last
she
wish to
says,
kiss him.
I have a last wish.
or last request.
Oh.
A request or wish. I don't know, something
Okay.
like that.
All right.
And so
I want to
she,
go watch it on Netflix.
Well, yeah,
right
because
now.
you almost think that he's going to be mad when
yes.
when
She
he
didn't-
finds out that she's a woman and she's been deceiving him all this time.
And
And at the very beginning, she liked her as a woman. And now he's realizing it's the same person, right? But okay, so again, how did he not know all along with her face?
It's enough, Mom. We talked last time. It's
this is
so
just one of
obvious.
those things
Right.
that you have to,
Yeah. Have to look past him.
yes, to look past.
It's not all reality.
If,
This is acting.
wait,
The story.
no.
But yeah, I love that part because that's the part of their real romantic relationship.
True.
Which
I love. I mean, I love their story.
me too. Me too. And I mean, she does things that she should not do,
Like what?
like switching the princess for
Oh, right.
Yeah.
the servant, and she just kind of has this her own agenda of things that she keeps accomplishing.
Right.
And he never he'll get mad at her, but he's not really mad.
Mhm.
And then later you learn it's everything he would have wanted anyway.
Right. Right.
So I love that.
So in the end, they both had the same end goal. They both had the same agenda. They didn't know it.
Right.
But
Right.
they knew they were working against each other. They were working together without realizing it. So,
Mhm.
and I think that's
Yes.
a lot of the basis of their relationship.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at first, there's a few episodes there where Mong Wu really has trouble trusting him because it's so odd what happened 3 years before. And she's a little traumatized still.
Right.
And she's agreed to stay by his side no matter what happens. But she realizes that betrayal could come.
Right.
And that would be hard.
So conflicted.
I know. So that's a lot of the episodes. Episode 12. I freaked out because I'm like, it's Return of the Thumb scene.
What?
So the former king and his gross thumb, and they had to replay that scene again.
Yeah.
Too many times.
Yeah, it was really gross. It was really gross. I don't know. And then it's shocking because Mong Wu continues on with her plan to assassinate King. Like the whole time. Episode, like, what, 12 or 13? She, like, has this plan, and I'm thinking, how do you do that?
Right.
It's like she wants to turn off her emotions.
Right.
And she thinks she can, but, yeah, it doesn't work out.
Right. Not at all. Because how do you turn the bond that they had and the affection that they had for each other was so strong from the get-go. How do you turn that off?
You can't. And I was so upset when she lures him to the house where it's like, what?
Right.
I was trying to work out like the different scenarios, what could happen. I think I even was talking to you guys. I'm like, maybe her dad will return.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I remember you saying that.
Maybe, like, I just had like these ideas like what could happen because there's no way she's really going to go through with it.
Yeah.
And she ends up standing between him and the sword. And I did not see that coming.
No, not at all.
So it was really brave of her, and she was really willing to sacrifice herself. And
yeah. Because I figured that she was going to somehow stop him from going in or from her friend from assess. But I didn't see her getting hurt in the process.
Yeah, it was a huge shock.
Yeah.
I did not see that one coming.
When she does take the sword for him, then he has the doctors called in, right? And so now even more people are starting to find out who she is and what's going on. I mean, they don't know what really is going on, but they know that she's a woman. And then the little nurse that's in there, she ends up spilling the beans to the
wannabe concubine woman.
The king's main. I know. Yeah. So that kind of has a change in the story too, because now you have a couple other people that know what's going on, and the concubine woman, whatever you want to call her, she obviously has ulterior motives because she's let it known. I don't know at what point in what episode she lets it be known that she has loved the king all along. So her motives are to get rid of anybody and everything. And earlier when she thought Mong Wu was a male, even because of the close bond between the king and her, she was trying to get rid of him, thinking it was a male. So now if she finds out it's a female,
even more so.
More so.
Yeah. It's like everyone wants Mong Wu gone.
Yeah. Right.
The whole time. It's like this whole
yeah.
So the ending. Well, a couple things. Let me find my.
Well, they had that one guy who was going to give his daughter, right?
Right.
There's so many scenes where it's all to benefit that old man.
The head of the
the other side. That anyway, he's his uncle too, right?
Correct.
And I don't know. I guess power, whatever. They want power by thinking his daughter, right, was that there could be power on their side, or they could get power.
Yeah, they're trying to make her marry him. Yes. I mean, everybody, you can't trust anybody around you in that position. I mean, we kind of talked about that before, but even his own mother.
Right.
That surprised me. I couldn't believe that his own mother.
She was so evil.
She was.
Yeah. But I noticed one of the themes in this, the king, it seems like so many of these people that betray him or do something bad. I don't know what to say, do something bad, but he always seems to give them a way out or a second
Right.
chance.
Absolutely.
Like there's like forgiveness that's there if they're willing to take it,
Right.
or they can choose a different option.
Right.
And that was from the moment he became king, even with the treasonous,
Yes.
terrible guy at the beginning, the traitor. I call him the traitor. He says you can confess everything you've done and, or not. And
Right.
that's kind of a theme that he carries out throughout
Yes.
his whole reign, I guess you could call it. He's always willing to give people a second chance.
Right.
Even his uncle, he was like, you can confess everything you've done and I'll spare your life.
Right.
But he wouldn't do it.
No. And I mean, it kind of shows, the heart of the different people. I mean, his heart was so kind and generous and just wanting the best. And yet everybody around him were so selfish and self-centered and only wanted what was going to benefit them. They just, it's just one extreme to the other between the personalities. So
It is. It is. So at the end, Mong Wu goes to Qing, the Qing dynasty, to play Go. And she's away for 9 months. And I knew it. I knew it was coming. I know it's like every drama.
and even though she was gone for 3 years earlier, did you still suspect she would go away again?
Yeah.
Really?
Because they always do that. Because I don't know. I feel like it's a theme with
They don't
Korean
always do it, but they do it a lot.
frequently.
Absence makes the heart grow fond.
Exactly. I think they're trying to say the love is so strong
Right.
that it will withstand separation. And
In anything.
I kind of go with that now. I mean, years ago, I had trouble with this, but it is sweet. And they do come back. And she, this whole time, has never told him her name.
Oh, that's right.
And the whole thing was, well, when I beat you at Go, you have to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
But he probably knew it because he knew who her father was.
Not at the
At very end.
He did until the very end. You?
Well, he knew who her father was. So, I mean, you would think that
But wasn't that at the end? Or was it not?
I mean, it was before she went to the Qing dynasty because she even tells him, I want to see my father.
That's right. You're
so,
right.
Anyway, my point is, she's still dressed as Mong Wu, the man, but she just tells him, my name's this. And I thought maybe it's the beginning of her being her real self.
Right.
I don't know. Because would she have, here's my question. Do you think she stayed Mong Wu? Or do you think she became, do you think she became queen?
Well, my guess, I mean, I'm sure that was always her nickname, if nothing else.
Right, exactly.
But I don't think she became queen because my guess was he was all along planning to step down and give the kingship to his brother.
Oh, the little kid.
The little kid,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's my thought. It's at the end, he steps down, they live as normal
Happily
life
ever
as they
after.
could, doing all the things that she was so passionate about doing, which he was too, for the common folk, basically, and then they didn't have that pressure and the eyes on them as he would if he was king. So then he turned it over. That's my, that would be my guess.
Then.
I wonder if the boy was too young, though.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
Okay, but he was young, but I mean, that happens. But
he was probably
king-
older than we realized, though, because they look awfully young.
Right.
Oh,
And I
that's
think
true.
the king had put the right people around at that point. Plus, the king was
Yes.
still there for him to bounce things off of. So I think that he had good people in place that he was confident he could turn it over and not be there all the time. Right.
And that's what he really wanted all along.
Exactly.
So you're right. I agree.
Okay.
I like your.
Yes. Street fit.
Thinking we were gonna see,
Yeah.
but we didn't see that. But that's
And he had never formally remarried. There was probably a reason for that. I mean, besides Mong Wu.
Right. He didn't want to be with anybody
And
but
he
her.
didn't even want to be king. So
No, he didn't.
there you go.
Right.
I love this drama so
I did
much.
too. And before, and I think even going back when he lied about his brother's last wishes,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was still pure
Mm-hmm.
because he knew that the king's son wasn't ready and he was trying to set something up through the whole thing to turn it over and to be ready. So I just think his end game was the same all along, whether he was king or not.
Right. And he had to find his brother's killer too.
Right. And he couldn't do that if he wasn't king.
Right. All undercover too. Because of the corruption.
Right. So much corruption.
Just like American politics, as you said before.
Yeah. I'm sure not just America. So anyway, I think that's all I had to say. I did want to say I was so surprised at the at Mong Wu's close friend that was kind of like her bodyguard kind of guy. When his love interest got killed, that surprised me.
Yes.
So I
do you
was really
remember
surprised
she
at
was
that.
the what do you call it?
I don't know what they are.
What are they
kind
called?
of like at the and I could be wrong.
They're
but
not concubines.
I almost think like it's a house where guys can go to get what they want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
She
what
was
it
like
is.
one of those, and that horrible guy. They were brother and sister. Her. Do you remember?
Speaking of the horrible guy,
Yeah.
they were getting distracted.
Things to
I
talk about.
know, the horrible guy. So, wow, we're so eloquent. Horrible guy. But, Mom, you told me last time he was the guy in Vincenzo and he was in Crash Landing. Do you recall?
No.
Okay. So I was like, no. I go back and I look at his IMDb and I'm like, it can't be. It doesn't look like him. But it is him.
Yeah.
I think it looks so different in this drama. I don't know if it's the facial hair. The facial hair changes everything.
It does.
We talked about that a little bit last time, but I'm still in awe. Like, that's really him. And I've never seen him play a character that's so terrible.
Yeah, because usually he's funny and slapstick, right?
Yeah, funny, slapstick.
But even if you really look at his character in Crash Landing, it's completely different, really, in Vincenzo.
It is.
He looks like two different people. Because to me, he looked so much older in Crash Landing. And I don't know why, but he did. He appeared older.
I don't remember what he looked like. So
To me, they look the same in those two dramas. He looks the same in those two dramas, but he's a great actor.
He
Yeah.
is.
I really
He
enjoy
is.
him, even as his evil character.
Right.
But
He was in that one we were talking about earlier, too. You know, the one,
Hospital Playlist movie.
you know, the Return to Sam
Del Rye.
Del Rye or whatever it is. He was the husband of the oldest sister.
Yes.
Remember?
yes. Oh, good.
So, I mean, you know, at
He's
least 4 things.
He's a great actor.
He really is.
We should really learn people's names so we could give them the credit that's due to them.
Make flashcards.
We should put on the walls. We should put their names and their photos so we have easily accessible.
I just expect Maureen to pop out their name, date of birth, who they're married to. But I didn't
get their name right.
For at least you to try.
What's his name? What's his real name?
I have no idea.
Really? I'm shocked.
Wow.
Well, all right. Out of 5, what do you guys think?
Absolutely a 5.
5.
5.
Wow.
We're all in agreement.
Finally.
5-ly.
5.
That's all we have time for today.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the KDrama Divas podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as we did. Before we part ways, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. Connect with us on social media at KDrama Divas to stay up to date on recent podcasts and to share your thoughts and recommendations.